Well, hello there, boys and girls. This is your fabulous host, v19 talking. And in today's episode, Brutal Doom vs 19, I'm going to talk about the really uber epic industrial metal band named KMFDM. I don't know if you ever heard of them before, but I have been a fan of theirs for many years now. And, well, it took me quite a while to find out about them though. In fact, the very first time that I heard about KMFDM was when I saw the very first Mortal Kombat video. And, well, that one was released way back in the 90s. Anyhow, cause they had their song Megalomaniac, I think it's called, on the Mortal Kombat soundtrack. But back then I didn't even know that KMFDM had made that song. Actually, I found out about that many years later after the release of Mortal Kombat. And I think I became something of a hardcore fan of KDM around like 98, 99 sometime. Anyhow, KMFDM started their band back in like 1984 in Paris, actually, in France. And well, quite a lot has happened since then, obviously. Like the fact that they have released 18 full-length studio albums. They have gone through several lineup changes, and they have done so many tours on top of that. And just in case if you wonder what KMFDM stands for, it's Kein Mehrheit for the Mitleid. I think I pronounced it right, and that's roughly translated to no pity for the majority. In English, that is, but if I'm not totally wrong now, that's a very bad and rough translation from well, it's a bad German grammar from the start, so it becomes really like messed up in the translation there, but that's what it gets translated into. And if you haven't figured out yet, KMFDM has always been rebels since the 80s and pretty much anti-everything. Hell, I still even remember when I talked to a fan about KMFDM not so long time ago. We had this MTV discussion going on because as we all know, MTV was once music television, and well, it's not so much music anymore, it's like money television really. So I just started to talk with this KMFDM fan about the whole thing, and there's a very good reason that I don't listen so much to today's music. I mean, I could really relate to KMFDM in so many ways. Like we have always been these the others, if you know what I mean. I mean, I can't relate to 99% of the music that's made nowadays. I mean, there's like so much crap. I mean, if you take stuff such as Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus, for example, I mean, most of their videos and music are just such fucking garbage. And still they get so much video and airtime on radio and all that, and still there's like awesome bands such as KMFDM that are pretty much unknown to the kids of today, at least the vast majority of them. So that's the main reason that I still listen to KMFDM, because that's the kind of music that I like to listen to. So and of course I'm very thankful that they are still around. I mean, I don't know if they have toured in Sweden lately, but they have sure toured in America quite a lot lately. And I mean, of course you could argue about all the transformations that KMFDM has gone through over the years, but I mean, there's pretty much the same thing with any kind of music, you know, fans, because if you take KMFDM For example, some fans just likes their old albums, the old stuff, and hate the new albums and all the new music that have made, pretty much. Me, on the other hand, I like both some of the old songs and some of the new songs. So, but I'm the kind of person that likes everything. If it sounds good, then it doesn't matter if it's like pop, metal, electronic music, or whatever. I mean, I like Eminem's new music and most of the music they has made, for example. So it's not like I just like one kind of music or genre or something like that, but I can somewhat understand where the KMFDM fans are coming from, because there's a huge difference from their early 90s albums and late 90s and 2000 albums. There's like a totally different band, but like I said earlier, they have also changed their lineup several times. So of course the music's gonna change in the same time as well. So but I mean, even though they have gone through all these lineups and changed the music style and all that, I have still been with them since pretty much 98, 99, and of course I have my like favorite albums and the ones that I don't like as much. But I mean, that's the same thing with pretty much any band. I mean, everyone has their favorite albums and less favorite albums, but I have to admit that I love Nil, Against, eller Angst, and What the Fuck the most, because those albums are, in my opinion at least, the most solid and all the way through like epic KMFDM albums. Because not everyone may agree with me now, but for some reason there was this like period in KMFDM's career when there was like just a handful of songs that were like really good, and the rest was like meh, like you just shrug and I skip this song and go over to this one. I don't know why it was like that, but that's at least how I felt about some albums that they have made. But if you take the What the Fuck album, that one is like, I think I even gave it like a 9 out of 10 or 10 out of 10. And let me see now, the very last album, or the newest album, was Kunst. And that one I don't think is so bad. I mean, it was like they have this old school sound to it, you know, the old KMFDM sound. So, well, I mean, it's not the epic album, but at least it's one of their better new albums. And you could also argue about the singers that KMFDM has had throughout the years, but I think that pretty much anyone would agree with me that Lucia is the number one, you know, like co-singer, or what you should call a backup singer, that KMFDM has had. I mean, she's such a great singer, and I mean, she's like a superstar on stage. She makes, I mean, there's most bands are like, you got these bands that are studio or great live bands, but KMFDM are both good in the studio, but even better live. Of course, every band has their like ups and downs, good and bad days, but I mean, you could pretty much pick a random KMFDM live video from YouTube or whatever, and you're just gonna see them shine, at least when Lucia is in the band. Because she's like, I don't know, this big karma kind of thing, or how should I explain it? Charisma, you know. So she's like, I don't know, kind of a front figure together with Sasha, you know. And I don't know how much, how much longer they can like keep on touring and all that, but I'm just gonna enjoy it while it lasts, if you know what I mean. So for my sake, they can go on forever. If there's like, if you take like Black Sabbath, Ozzy, what his age now is like, it is almost like 70 years old or something like that. But as long as they enjoy it and they make great music and they are able to perform live, then I hope that they're gonna continue. Because as I said earlier, I'm not a fan of today's music at all. I pretty much don't watch MTV, I never listen to radio. I just hang out at the underground scene and pick up artists that I found talented, because the sad truth is this, the most talented people are not to be found on radio or TV or talent shows or whatever. They are found in the underground scene, because they actually really have to have talent, you know. They have worked really hard. Like I found this guy, I think he's called Viking Guitar, I could be wrong. He's like a total killer when it comes to doing cover things, and KMFDM has pretty much been counted as an underground band since the 80s. But then again, they have, I think it was an interview they did in a very rare MTV interview just to make things even funnier. And they talked about, fame, fortune and shit like that, and they felt like kind of odd, I guess, because I don't remember the song now, but there's a song when they diss MTV. I think it's called KMFDM sucks or something like that, but there's this line when they pretty much slam MTV, that they hate I think the line's like, we don't care about Madonna, we don't care about Michael Jackson, and there's like, we don't care about MTV. And it's kind of hard to be both like rebel, underground, and still try to be successful. It's like both braking and accelerating at the same time, It's like, it doesn't work very well. But still, they got a really like solid hardcore fan base. I don't know if they get like many new, like youngsters to become fans. But if you take like Slayer, for example, which, funny by the way, KMFDM has I think borrowed the parts from a Slayer song, Regaining Blood, I think I could be wrong. Anyhow, Godlike, I think that's the song that KMFDM used, that the guitar thing there. Anyhow, Slayer still gets new fans, because I have been to some concerts and there's like 12, 14 years old kids like, Slayer, the fucking rock. And I don't know if KMFDM gets like younger fans, but at least when I look at the comments that we have received on our videos, and of course videos of KMFDM, then I came to the conclusion that seems to be the case, as sometime at least. And hopefully more and more youngsters will find out about KMFDM, and I hope that this video of mine will probably make some people curious to find out more about KMFDM. And I think that if you like industrial metal like Rammstein and Minister and such, then you're gonna like KMFDM as well. At least they're very like early on albums, because they were like as industrial metal as it gets. Then there was this like experimental period when they tried different kind of stuff, like Rasta Safari and stuff like that. It was a very strange experimental period, but I guess most bands go through that. Korn, I'm not even gonna go into that, about their failure albums when they experimented a bit too much, maybe. But still, KMFDM has stayed pretty much the same over the years anyhow. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to comment on the subject, of course. And if you like what we do, then please subscribe. Take care, people. This is v19 signing out. Bye bye.